All right, Ji, welcome back in our second Zoom session. And we were talking about the balance scorecard technique, and we were concluding the discussion that the current periodic performance reviews to learn about and improve strategy. That can be the purpose for launching this scorecard technique. Now let's have an overview that how can we link the mission, vision, values with the scorecard eventually. This pyramid is telling us the secret behind the whole story. The starting point is the definition of our mission, which is the core purpose of the organization. After defining mission, we'll be looking at the values, which are the timeless guiding principles related to an organization. Afterwards, we can also talk about the vision. That would be the word picture of the ideal future. So these are the three main things which are the starting point for any business development. Once we have developed our mission, values, and vision, the next step would be that we have to talk about the strategy. And before developing a strategy, always remember that we have to set objectives. Now, related to objectives, being an amateur, being a starting business, when we say that how can we set long-term objectives, remember that we can have a vision for the future. And related to that vision, we can make objectives. And remember that the objectives would always be flexible in their nature as well. Supposedly that we have set a financial objective that we want to achieve a certain percentage of revenue increase. We want to achieve, or strategic objective that we want to increase a certain percentage of market share in the future. And by the time we are working on our concerns, we come to know that those objectives which we have previously set are not ideal, or they are not practical. So we can change them, but more we change would show that our vision about the future is shaky, is not certain. And remember that when we talk about vision, mission, values, when we talk about long-term objective setting, we are also concerned with our environmental scanning and environmental audits. And I told you that those environmental scannings and audits should be based upon our historical trend of 3 to 4 years. And they should be having the norms of forecasting for further 3 to 4 years. Okay. So to be more concrete in our objective setting, we need to be more vigilant, and we should develop our ability to do the forecasting based upon the historical data, based upon the facts which we are available with, and at least try that we should be moving with a plan. Otherwise, remember that we can also live without objective setting, as I have just told you in the start of the chapter, and the AKK would always be with you. But in addition to what nature has decided for us, we also put our effort to carve out the situation. As Allama Saab once said, "Apni dunya aap paida kar agar zindon mein hai." So remember that one thing is that we flow with the pace of time, that we flow with the pace of circumstances. But there can be another situation in which we plan, in which we craft out the future for us. So at least I can say that we can try to forecast the future, and we can try to set the quantitative objectives in it. And then we try to find out the ways that how can we reach to our planned destinations. And that would all be guided by the mission, the values, and the vision. And obviously, if you cannot develop a long-term vision, you cannot develop long-term objectives, that is for sure. So again, the starting point can be, the starting point is the mission, vision, and the values. And more comprehensive, more elaborated, more concrete vision you have, it would be easier for you to develop long-term objectives accordingly. So once those long-term objectives are set, or even the short-term objectives are set, then you craft the strategy. Because I told you that strategy is the how of strategic management. That how you're going to do it, the answer is strategy. So your game plan for success is the strategy. The strategy tells you how to achieve what you have planned. And what you have planned is actually the objective. Now, to materialize the strategy, remember that you have to develop a strategy map. The strategy map would be a very detailed diagrammatic representation of how strategies are going to be implemented and what can be the link of the corporate level strategy with the business level and with the functional level. So I'll be just showing you the demonstration of the strategy map in the next slide. The strategy map is going to be the graphical representation of key objectives. And once the graphical representation of the key objectives would be developed, then we'll be in a situation, in a position to craft our balanced scorecard. And the balanced scorecard would obviously be the performance measures, targets, and initiatives. Once the performance measures, targets, and initiatives are being set, I'll be showing you the demonstration of those as well. The next step would be cascading measures. And in cascading measures, we'll be talking about performance measures of all departments, individuals that align with overall goals. And once those goals are being aligned, the next step would be strategic management system. And in that strategic management system, we'll be linking the balanced scorecard to processes such as budgeting, reporting, and compensation. So that's how the whole process of strategic management carries on. Now, let me show you the details of all these points. I'll be skipping the first three things, mission, vision, and values, because we have already talked about these things. Then we set objectives. I have told you the examples of strategic objectives and financial objectives. Afterwards, we set a strategy. The strategy can be supposedly at any level, corporate level, business level, or functional level. At a corporate level, it can be integration strategy, diversification strategy, market penetration, product development, market development. There are so many corporate level strategies we'll be talking about in a couple of minutes. Then there can be business level strategies, which can be cost leadership, differentiation, focus. And then obviously we'll be talking about strategies related to marketing, finance, HR, and production. Now, how all these things are demonstrated, depicted, graphically represented, we develop a strategy map. So let's have a look on the strategy map. This flowsheet diagram is a strategy map. And let me tell you how this strategy map is actually working. To start our discussion, let's focus on this upper circle, which is talking about the profitability, where my mouse cursor is moving, that the organization is targeting a certain level of profitability, which would be return on capital employed. And the organization has sorted out that to achieve a certain level of profitability, which can be the return on the capital employed, there are three ways. One, we have to talk about cost management. Two, we have to improve the gross margins. And three, we have to improve the operational capability. And when we have to increase the operational capability, we have to focus upon customer service. We have to focus upon quality of the products and services. We have to see how high performance working systems are operational. And when we say high performance working systems are operational, which are also abbreviated as HPWS, high performance work systems, they are dependent upon the reward system. They are dependent upon the reward systems, the reward management. And the high performance work management is also dependent upon performance management. And the high performance work systems are also dependent upon human capital contribution. Now, this human capital contribution would be available to us to improve our operational capability. Along with that, it would be available to us to improve the high performance working systems. And the human capital contribution would also be triggered by performance management and the talent management. In addition to performance management and talent management, human capital contribution can also be increased by employee engagement, and we need to focus upon learning and development. Now, through learning and development, employee engagement, talent management, performance management, and reward management, we are going to increase human capital contribution. The human capital contribution is going to cause the major increase in sales force effectiveness. The sales force effectiveness would also be linked with the marketing of the business side. The marketing would also be linked with the product market development strategies and techniques and tools. And the product market development would also be there to improve the sales turnover. And sales turnover would also be triggered by customer satisfaction and loyalty. The customer satisfaction and loyalty would also be affected by sales force effectiveness. And once the sales force effectiveness has increased the customer satisfaction and loyalty, it has also increased the sales turnover. Remember that customer satisfaction and loyalty would not only be increasing the sales force turnover, but it would also be affected by customer service, which is affecting the customer satisfaction and loyalty. And it would also be affected by the operational capability, which is enhancing the quality of the manufacturing products. And all these things combined together are reinforcing the sales turnover, and the sales turnover is triggering the gross margin, and the gross margin would be contributing towards the profitability. Okay. What I have tried to come up with is to tell you how things are associated in an organization when we talk about a strategy map. In this strategy map, we have started the discussion from the profitability, the return on capital employed as a target and as a long-term objectives of the corporation. And then we have trickled down to the nitty-gritty details that how different things, how different components of the system are correlated with one another. Now, these are not only all the correlations we can talk about. This is the mostly HR side demonstration. Then there would be marketing side demonstration. Then there would be financial side demonstration. Then there would be operations and production side demonstration. In fact, in short, we are trying to synchronize, patronize every functional aspect of the business into this game plan. Every nitty-gritty detail of the business into this game plan. And in this game plan, we are trying to make all the relationships, all the associations, all the dependencies, that how different aspects of a business are basically working as building blocks to create the whole of a system. Okay. So that is also an approach which we discuss in terms of systems approach, systems intelligence, or systems thinking. Okay. So this is how the strategy is developed, through establishing this dependency relationship, this strategy map, in which we can have a detailed overview that how different components, how different building blocks of the business are basically united together to achieve one common goal and one common objective, long-term objective, and moving towards our mission, vision, concerns. Now, let me discuss with you that how these strategy maps are associated with the 4 aspects of balanced scorecard. Okay. Now look at this flow sheet diagram. This is like a strategy map, and we are going to convert the intangible assets into tangible outcomes. These maps which we are just talking about are generic. Every organization can have their own strategy maps. They can have their own strategic discussions that how they are going to associate all the aspects of a business along with all the nitty-gritty details into long-term achievements, long-term survival, above average returns, maximization of the wealth of the shareholders, and all the associated concerns. So let's have a look on this particular diagram which I'm showing you. Supposedly, we start from one of the starting points in a balanced scorecard, which is learning and growth perspective. When we talk about learning and growth perspectives, we have to calculate the HR matrices. And the HR matrices would be obviously coming from the HR department, in which they'll be talking about human capital development, information capital development, organizational capital development, and the organizational capital development would be talking about the teamwork, the alignment of different concerns, the leadership role, the culture of their organization. So these are the main concerns: human capital, information capital, organizational capital, which we talk and discuss in terms of learning and growth perspective. And in these concerns, we're going to set the objectives, targets, measures, and initiatives. Once these human capital, information capital, organizational capital associations are developed, the human matrices are being calculated. We translate all these things into internal perspective, internal business processes. And the internal business processes would be focusing upon operations management processes, customer management processes, innovation processes, and regulatory and social processes. In terms of operations management processes, we'll be focusing upon supply and demand chain. We'll be focusing upon production, distribution, risk management. When we'll be talking about customer management processes, we'll be focusing upon selection, acquisition, retention, and growth of the customers. When we talk about innovation processes, we'll be focusing upon opportunity identification, R&D portfolio, design and development of products and services, launch of new products and services. And when we talk about regulatory and social processes, we'll be concerned with environmental concerns, safety and health issues, employment issues, and the community issues. These are all the internal business processes, the areas in which we have to set the objectives, measures, initiatives, and targets. Once the internal business processes are developed, the next step would be customer perspective. And in terms of customer perspective, we'll be talking about customer value proposition. And in terms of customer value proposition, we'll be talking about price, quality, availability, selection, functionality, service, partnership, brand, and all these concerned issues. And for all these details, in my previous lecture, I discussed with you the brand DNA, the business DNA, the marketing DNA, and there are the DNAs of each and everything we need to talk about when we are concerned with our business in a more detailed fashion. Now, when we talk about customer value proposition, we have product and service attributes. We have different relationships of product and services. We have to create the brand image, brand equity, brand loyalty. And we have to set the related objectives, targets, initiatives, and measures in that concern. Once we have set the objectives, targets, measures, and initiatives in those concerns, the next step would be the financial perspective. And in the financial perspectives, we'll be talking about the long-term shareholder value. And in long-term shareholder value, we'll be concerned with improved cost structure, increase asset utilization, expand revenue opportunities, enhance customer value, and eventually we'll be moving towards the growth strategy and productivity strategy. So again, we have tried to link up two things: how the balanced scorecard and its related objectives, measures, targets, and initiatives are in association with strategy map. Once the strategy map and the balanced scorecards are done, then we are in a position to better demonstrate that how much we have achieved in what concern, in which direction the business is achieving, what objectives are already being met, what objectives can we set for the next coming years. and how one company linked measures from the 4 perspectives. Again, this is an abbreviated form of the last slide, that in learning and growth, we talk about employee suggestions, employee morale. The employee suggestion and employee morale would be linked with the rework related to the business process re-engineering. And the employee morale would also be linked with the customer satisfaction. And the reward, rework, and the customer satisfaction would also be linked with the operating expense and accounts receivable. And these 2 things can be linked with the return on capital employed. In all these links, sometimes these would be positively reinforced and sometimes these would be negatively reinforced. Sometimes they would be having negative association and correlation with one another, and sometimes these variables would have a positive correlation and association with one another. So basically, it's not any legal requirement. It is your internal planning, that how sophisticated are you in your internal planning and thinking and concerns. Now, moving one step further, let's see how one company built a strategic management system. Okay? And now we are going to talk about strategic management system in terms of defining the scorecards along with the development of strategy map. There are some sequential steps we need to follow. And in addition to these sequential steps, there are certain time frames which we have to focus upon. In this graphical representation, we have time frame in the center. And in the first instance, I'm talking about the first year. In the first year, the first step would be clarify the vision. Okay. Now, when we say clarify the vision, how can we do that? The 10 members of a newly formed executive team work together for 3 months. There is at least a time frame of 3 months. A balanced scorecard is developed to translate a generic vision into a strategy that is understood and can be communicated. The process helps build consensus and commitment to the strategy. So that would be done in the first 3 months of our planning. Now we are moving towards the second step, the 2A. The 2A is talking about communicate to middle managers. The top 3 layers of management, 100 people suppose, now we're picking 100 people. We started from 10 people, now we're moving towards 100 people, are brought together to learn about and discuss the new strategy. The balanced scorecard is the communication vehicle that will be showing them that in the first 3 months, according to the vision, mission, and values, and the objectives and strategy, how much we have achieved so far, how much we are planning for the future in terms of finance, in terms of customer, in terms of internal business growth, in terms of development and learning. And from month 6 to 9, the 2B step would be taken, and that would be talking about develop business unit scorecard using the corporate scorecard as a template. Each business unit translates its strategy into own scorecard. On the other side, during month 6, we can simultaneously launch in a parallel fashion. We can launch 3A, which is talking about eliminate non-strategic investments. We'll be trying to overcome the non-value-added costs and associated services. The corporate scorecard, by clarifying strategic priorities, identify many active programs that are not contributing to the strategy. And we can move towards a 3B, which is launch corporate change programs. The corporate scorecard identifies the need for cross-business change programs. They are launched while the business units prepare their own scorecards. So the scorecard technique is being implemented at all the levels, corporate level and business level. And obviously the data will be coming from the functional level, and from the functional level in the form of matrices. We'll be having the HR matrices, we'll be having the financial matrices, we'll be having the marketing matrices. Right? As you could know that in every department, matrices are being developed. Okay, so matrices are what? Matrices are the quantitative measures of every functional area which can be demonstrated in numerical terms. Okay, now the 5th point would be during the, we are in the moving towards that month 10th to 12th. The 5th point would be refine the vision towards the end of the year. The review of business unit scorecard identifies several cross-business issues not initially included in the corporate strategy. The corporate scorecard is updated. This is again, we are reaching towards the end of the year. The step 4 along with that running during months 9 to 11 would be the review business unit scorecard. The CEO and the executive team review the individual business unit scorecards. The review permits the CEO to participate knowledgeably into shaping business unit strategy. Now the first year is ending, and at the end of the first year, we have gone through the vision mission. We have gone through the establishment of the scorecards quantitatively, and we are sharing these things with every member of the organization. Now, starting from the month 13 to 26, the sixth step would be communicate the balanced scorecard to the entire company. At the end of 1 year, when the management teams are comfortable with the strategic approach, the scorecard is disseminated to the entire organization. The 6B would be establish individual performance objectives. The top 3 layers of management link their individual objectives and incentive compensation to their scorecard. We are moving now towards the month 13 and 14. In the 7th step, which is covering the time frame of month 15 and 17, it is saying that update long range plan and budget. 5-year goals are established for each year. The investments required to meet those goals are identified and funded. The first year of 5-year plan becomes annual budgets. Let me tell you another important thing, that we are not talking about rocket sciences. We are not talking about only the developed world. Even in Gujranwala, there are certain companies who are practically launching the scorecard technique. For example, the Master Group of companies, they are one of the pioneers in Gujranwala who have started actually developing the scorecard technique, and they're very successful in it. And as you all could see, their development over the passage of time. Now, the 8th step, which is starting from the month 18 and onward, we are looking at on the fact that conduct monthly and quarterly reviews. After corporate approval of the business unit scorecards, a monthly review process supplemented by quarterly review that focuses more heavily on strategic issues begin. Now, once the 18th month is over, we are moving towards the step 9 and step 10. The step 9 would be conduct annual strategy review at the start of the 3rd year. The initial strategy has been achieved and the corporate strategy requires updating. The executive committee lists 10 strategic issues. Each business unit is asked to develop a position on each issue as a prelude to updating its strategy and scorecard. And the 10th step would be link everyone's performance to the scorecard, balanced scorecard. And everyone's performance is driving through, as I told you earlier, the 3 expressions: key result areas, key performance areas, and key performance indicators. So the key performance indicators, which are quantitative measures in everyone's job, they are eventually summed up in the corporate level scorecards. Okay, so all employees are asked to link their individual objectives, again driving from the KPI to the balanced scorecard. The entire organization's incentive compensation is linked to the scorecard, and now we are traveling through the time frame of 25th to 26th month. So that technically shows what? That technically shows that it takes about 2 years to translate our strategy into measurable performance initiatives. In addition to that, there is a footnote written that step 7, 8, 9, and 10 are performed on a regular basis. The balanced scorecard is now a routine part of the management process. And as I told you, even in Gujranwala, there are many organizations. In Pakistan, there are many organizations. In all the countries of the world, there are many organizations who are making the things more formal, who are adopting the sophisticated processes of managing things, who are focusing upon business process re-engineering, and who are working and striving hard for long-term survival and above average returns. Now, the personal scorecard, one of the templates we can follow, is just in front of you. And in this personal scorecard, the corporate objectives is the starting point, where you define your corporate value in 7 years, suppose time, increase our earnings by average 20% per year, achieve an internal rate of return 2% above the cost of capital, and so on. And mind you, in your FIP, you're also going to develop objectives for next 3 years. As you were questioning me that how can we develop the long-term objectives? So I'm telling you that in your FIP even, it is required from you to develop 3 years objective, and you will be showing every calculation regarding it, regarding your financials, regarding your marketing, regarding your HR, regarding your production and operations. You'll be forecasting all the perspectives of the business for at least up to 3 years. So this is another demonstration that how scorecards are planned and depicted and filled. This is another example for you in which library strategy plan is being given, that how a library is developing its strategic map. So we have strategic enablers, we have key themes, we have customers, we have purposes, we have vision, and we are going to associate and correlate all these things into one flow sheet diagram in which we can demonstrate that how financial sustainability, how values and developing aspects related to our staff, how our game plans, how our vision, these are all correlated with one another. This is another example of a balanced scorecard in which we are looking at the financial perspective, that how your earnings before income tax, the cash flows, the increased contribution from new and existing customers, the lower supply chain cost without hurting customer services, they are being filled and they are being demonstrated. And how the initiative, projected sales, the projects you're going to launch, the actual, the target, the owners, you're going to mention all these things into a format. And for that purpose, we have a couple of softwares which have the facility to forecast for us, which have the capability to record the data for us. For example, the ERP systems, for example, the SAP systems, PeopleSoft, OutlookSoft, these are all the systems available to us, even they are operational in Gujranwala, that how organizations are going to record their performance in quantitative terms. This is another visual display, the different graphical representations, the dashboards, the meter displays in which we record our organizational performance and working. This is another demonstration that how different graphical representations are being recorded and are being demonstrated graphically. Now remember that the purpose of the whole story is that we have to translate the business into measurable objectives, measurable targets. We have to be planned. We have to be formal. We have to be sophisticatedly analyzing that how the business is progressing. Okay, so you can adopt many other approaches as well. It is not just necessary that you have to stick to the fixed formulas. You can have your own measures, you can have your own matrices, you can have your own demonstrations that how do you think you are planned? How do you think that you're going to meet up your long-term objectives? How do you think that you're going to pursue your mission and vision and values? Okay, so it is all about your explicit knowledge. It is all about demonstrating and saving your knowledge for the coming generations. It is all about that you convert your tacit knowledge into explicit form for the coming generations, not to reinvent the wheel. So that is how the strategic concerns are technically taken into account. And these are how technical aspects are being demonstrated through formal orientations, through graphs, through tables, through meter displays, which are also known as dashboards. These are just working like the dashboard of your car. As your car is having a meter display in which it is shown that how much is the petrol left, how much is the speed of the car, like different performance measures we can see through the dashboard. So same is the case that we develop business dashboards in which we can have the visual display of the business performance. Our second Zoom meeting time is ending. We'll see each other in the third Zoom meeting. Join ASAP.